Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows is directed by Dave Green. It stars Megan Fox, Will Arnett, and Stephen Amell. I probably don't need to explain that this is a sequel to 2014's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This time around, the Turtles are feeling a bit frustrated, especially Raphael. They're feeling a bit of cabin fever for being stuck in the sewers and not being able to, well, come out into the public. And especially because Will Arnett's character is taking a lot of the credit for the good deeds that they do for the city. In the meantime, Shredder has escaped from captivity and is amassing a new army and a whole new plot to take over the city, the world, the universe, whatever. And this time around, he's found a way to open a portal to Dimension X, where Krang resides, and Krang makes a deal with him to come to Earth and take over the world, etc. It's up to the Turtles to save the day. Woohoo! Now look, I was not a fan of 2014's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It actually took me a couple of goes before I could actually watch it. First time around, I got to about the 20-minute mark and wanted to turn it off. I got to 30 minutes and that was as much as I could take. I just found it, I don't know, the turtle characters I didn't really think were that well done. They were kind of, I don't know, a bit irritating, to be honest. And Splinter as well, I don't know, he just didn't do it for me. The whole thing was a mess, and when I finally got around to checking it out, yeah, it really wasn't much better than the first 30 minutes I saw. I'd probably give it about, I don't know, maybe a 3 or 4 out of 10. So going into this one, I was kind of expecting the same sort of thing. I was expecting that I really wasn't going to like it, but I have to admit, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. So for starters, the things I liked about it, it was fast-paced. There was no dull moments in the movie. Maybe a little bit too fast-paced. I'll get to that a little bit later on. The CGI and effects were really good. The Turtles were actually very believable, especially in the facial expressions, the movement, that sort of thing. Yeah, I found them to be actually quite believable. I also liked what they did with Shredder this time. Even though he was kind of underused in the movie, in the first one, he almost looked like a mini version of Megatron from Transformers. I mean, he looked more like a robot than a person in an armored suit. This time around, they actually had him more in a natural human sort of form, and he didn't have like 200 blades on his Swiss Army gauntlets and stuff like that, which was just ridiculous. So yeah, Shredder was really good. Another big standout to me was the score. Steve Jablonsky often does a lot of Michael Bay's movies. I know Michael Bay didn't direct this movie, but he was a producer, etc. And yeah, Steve Jablonsky's music I've really liked over the years. He seems to do a really good job of capturing a certain mood and emotion, and yeah, his music is very noticeable, particularly in this film. And the other thing I dug about this movie was that it was very faithful to the late 80s cartoon series, which I was a huge fan of back in the day. And this time around they had a lot of nods to both the cartoon series and the original films, especially a little scene involving Ice Ice Baby, which I kind of dug and thought, hey, it's a nice little nod to Vanilla Ice. Now, as far as things I didn't like about the movie, now, I know it was funny because, like, one of my positives was that it moved quickly, but that's also kind of a negative because it just moved too damn quickly. This movie it was like it had ADHD or something. It was just relentless in its pace. And not only that, it had a very shallow plot and some bad dialogue, but one thing I realized, I'm sitting there watching this movie and it's a kid's flick. Even though there were a couple of swear words thrown in or whatever, which sort of made me think, hang on, what's this, what age bracket is this movie aimed at? But no, at the end of the day, it was definitely a kid's movie. So yeah, you had clunky dialogue, you had a shallow plot, you had jokes that were really forced and pretty bad, and there was a lot of heavy exposition scenes, particularly a recap of the first movie that was just forced. But kids don't care about this sort of stuff, and I got it, and for that reason, I kind of overlooked those little criticisms. Another thing that kind of bothered me, and again, it's one of those things that, kids are probably going to dig, but Krang, I don't know, he didn't really do it for me. He kind of looked like a brain that was shaped like Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean, but was doing really bad Yoda impressions. That's probably the best I can describe him as, but You know, again, I'm watching it and thinking to myself, the kids are probably going to love him. But the one big criticism I do have, and I don't care if it's a kid's flick, an adult's flick, or whatever, but my biggest gripe with this movie was Megan goddamn Fox. I cannot stand her. Seriously, and I'm not just ragging on her because, you know, it's popular to hate Megan Fox or anything. I've got a valid reason why I don't like her as an actress. And that is because if you look at a good actor, the eyes do so much. I mean, even just subtle movements of the eyes can convey so much. Megan Fox, now look, I don't know if it is a Botox problem or whatever, but her eyes never move. No matter if she is excited, scared, sad, happy, laughing, anything like that, her eyes just always stay the same, and it is really annoying. Honestly, I cannot figure out why Hollywood keep employing her. Seriously, I just can't imagine why they keep giving her movie roles. I mean, what is it about her that makes them keep coming back to her over and over again? Oh yeah. Well, that explains everything. So if you're expecting anything more than a big, loud, dumb cartoon of a movie, you're going to be sorely disappointed. This flick is just a big, hyperactive ball of energy aimed at kids to give them a good time, and, you know, it's harmless fun. So despite what I thought I was going to be thinking of this movie, I'm actually going to give it a 5 out of 10. Like I said, it definitely wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. There were no moments where I thought to myself, you know, I could walk out, or, you know, if I was watching it at home, I'd switch it off or anything like that. It was just harmless fun. So let me know what you thought of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. I know there's quite a wide variety of reviews going around at the moment. Some people have really dug it, and good for you. Let me know what you thought. Drop me some comments either here or on Facebook, because I like to talk about movies, and I would love to talk about movies with you. See you next time.
Hey you there. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Click subscribe. You see the big word up the top that says subscribe? Well, click on it. Click on it now. Do it. Yeah.